Welcome to Chaos in La Mesa. Before we get started, just a quick reminder. Everything shared comes from our personal experiences, opinions, and memories. Some stories may be emotional, messy, or total little humor. That's what happens when you crack open the tequila. This podcast may include sensitive topics, strong language, and family chaos. The views expressed are our own and does not represent anyone mentioned in our stories. So grab your cafecito, take a seat at the table, and remember, some things get a little chaotic when you bring it all to the table.
Welcome to Chaos en la Mesa with your hosts, Nikki G and Crystal. And we're here today just to talk a little bit about being a woman in today's society. I shouldn't just say woman, being a woman versus / girl in today's society versus what we grew up with, right? So we're just going to jump right in. Again, this is Las Dos Primas, Las Dos Comadres, bringing it to the table, talking about all the topics, making sure that we touch on things that resonate with you, resonate with our audience, resonate with those around us and those worldwide, right? Because we want you to know that you're not alone. Don't ever be afraid to bring it to La Mesa. We're here to talk about it. If you have content that you would like us to discuss because you're not comfortable bringing it up yourself, let us know. We will 100% bring it to the Mesa and we'll talk about it. So we're going to jump right in. You guys already know who we are. So I think that raising a daughter has given me a different perspective on what it is to be a woman and what the expectation is. Mm-hmm. For me, I feel like growing up, it was one of those things where calladita se ve más bonita. You don't address people, men especially. You don't address men unless they address you. You are quiet unless you're discussed or unless you're invited to a discussion, right?
Even then, though.
Right.
Even then.
You were limited on what you could say, right? You had to mind your P's and Q's. Right. And I think I have always been that person who pushed that boundary. I have always been the person to talk back, to clap back. Before we had clapbacks, I was that person, right? And you couldn't tell me nothing because I didn't care who you were. I was going to clap back.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a reason that a lot of the males in my family, I shouldn't say a lot, your uncle.
What uncle? Your dad? Because that's the only uncle I have.
Your ex-uncle. Actually, both of them. Your mother's brother. Yeah, your mother's brother and half-brother.
Yeah.
That's why they had issues with me. But I think that I've always carried the strong independence in me that I don't know where it came from, but I think it came from my nana because I heard she was a badass.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can see that. I never got to meet her.
Right, neither did I. I was 6 months old when she died, right? So, but nonetheless, I feel like in my upbringing, it was a lot of you do as you're told, you know, that was the vibe that we got, right? And I think my mom kind of tried to change that vibe, but no shade, I think that she went about it the wrong way. I think instead of it being like a different vibe, it was I'm in charge and I'm an alpha and my dad is so laid back. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, I know how things roll. And like at the end of the day, as long as everything's cool, we're cool, right? Like he's not the type to, you know, my dad, he's not the type to fight, to push back or whatever. And I think my mom, it was very important for her to be like, a mí no me mandan. I didn't grow up, you know,
Yeah.
my mom grew up in a household where my grandfather was the breadwinner, my grandfather was the boss, and my grandmother did as she was told, right? And my mom didn't want that. So I think she took it to the extreme, right? Where she wanted to be in charge and she wanted to be the one making all the decisions. And for me, I feel like that just made me rebel, right? Where I was like, you're not gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like growing up, I was always like, I want to be taken care of. If somebody will marry me and let me be a housewife, I will 100% do it.
And see, I never saw that aspect on your side with your parents. Like I always saw that your mom did the cooking, the cleaning, the stuff like that. And your dad went to work, but he also took care of you. Like it was always you and your dad, you know? And so I never saw your mom being
trying to be that alpha,
trying to be that beta, you know, not that beta bitch, that alpha queen.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted and whatever. At the same time, I also saw her soft. I never saw her hard. Versus in my house, it was my dad wore the pants. My mom had to be the soft one. mom had to be,
And that was very known, right?
and
Like it
everybody
was
saw it.
very known.
And I didn't want to be that.
Right.
I didn't want to be that soft that I'm going to go home at 1 o'clock to make my husband food because that's the time he's going to eat. No,
Right.
you eat when I make it.
Right.
Oh.
Otherwise, make your own.
If you're hungry, there's food in the kitchen. Like,
Right.
I bought it.
You know how to
Wanna
cook just as much as I do.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I 100% get it.
So I can see why you're raising Ava the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'm raising Harley the way that I am, because one, I don't want her to be walked all over, right?
Right,
Like, that's just not
100%.
something I want. And two, I don't want her to feel like she has to be that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
She can be taken care of. By all means, take care of her, but treat her the same you would a man.
Right. Right.
But remember, she's still a girl. I'm still a girl. I don't want to be soft, but at the same time, I still want that femininity.
Right.
Where I can be soft.
Where you're given that opportunity
Right.
to be soft. Because I feel like in today's society, right? So like, okay, jumping forward, right? Today's society, women want to be very independent. They want to, I do it for myself. I do this, I do that, blah, 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 blah. No, a bitch doesn't want to be like that. Let me tell you. I want a man to come put gas in my car. I want a man to check it for me when I need it. Like, it's making a noise. I don't know. Check it.
Right.
Literally, I'm just a girl. And I know people hate that. I know people in my family hate that when I say that. My compadre hates when I say that. Why do you say that shit? And I'm like, because at the end of the day, I need somebody to be able to put me in my femininity, right? I need to know that, like, at the end of the day, you're going to take care of me and whatever is ours, right? And I can, right? And I have. For the past 10 years, I stand on business for me and Ava, right? No questions asked. I do what I got to do to get where I need to go.
Mhm.
However, if somebody was able to step in and be like, I got you both, I would be able to breathe and, not worry about it. And it's funny because people see me so much as like, oh, she's got it. We don't got to worry about her. She's got it. Like, she's tough. She can handle her own. She can whatever. And then sometimes, like, I feel like I have to be like, hello, I'm a girl.
It's a boy job.
Exactly.
Boy job.
So, like, for instance, yesterday we were at karate, right? And Ava fucked around and stomped on my back. I was dead. I like started crying and I was like, I need a minute. And I got up just to like make sure I could get up, but my back was killing me. And I get it. She's a kid. She doesn't have as much control as an adult would, but I like was in a lot of pain. And the guys were like, shake it off. You're fine. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. Like, and so I was laying on the ground and Hennel brought me an ice pack and I was laying on it. And then I got up. And then he was like, are you done being a sissy? And I'm like, you guys forget that I'm a girl. Like, I know that when I'm on the mat, we're just like two people, like, we're training together.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you guys need to remember that I'm a girl. And girls are not, and I'm probably going to catch a lot of shit for this. Girls are not as strong as guys are. Biologically, it's just what it is, right?
See, and this is where I think, yes, men are physically meant to be stronger in some areas. You're supposed to be able to go out and carry a body, right? Like,
right.
You were built for that. But as far as everything else, like, women are just as strong. Like, I can go change my tire. Do I want to go change my tire?
No.
I can go change the oil. Do I want to? That's a boy job. But my daughter's gonna learn.
And it's funny because I feel like it's frowned upon, right? To want somebody else to take care of it, right? Like having the boys do the boy jobs. I feel like it's so frowned upon these days that, like, going back to women who want to be independent and want to do this and want to do that. Okay, great. But be independent, make your own money, do your own thing, right? Like, I get that. But in the same token, who are you calling to carry your heavy groceries? Who are you calling to carry your cases of water, right? Okay, and let's put it, I get my own stuff, But you have it delivered. Like, come on. Don't sit here and be like, oh, I don't need a man for nothing. Yes, you do, bitch. You're 5 feet tall. You can't reach the top shelf. Like,
Yeah.
come on, right? And I say that because I have friends like that, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, if you really want to be like, I don't need a man for whatever,
Mhm.
then stand on business. Figure it out.
I mean,
Because your dad counts as a man too.
right.
Right? Like,
and that's, like I said, I want someone to take care of.
right.
I
100%.
do. Do I want to ask for money from my husband, my partner, boyfriend, whatever? No, I want him to be like, here,
Yeah. Here, get whatever you need.
here's money for groceries. Here's money for gas.
Right.
Here's whatever it is that we're going to need. I want them to be able to do that. But at the same time, I don't want you to hold that over me.
Right.
So yeah, it's a partnership when it comes to that. For me personally, you're going to cook, you're going to wash your own dishes, you're going to do all of that just as much as I am.
Right.
So I get it.
And I think that for me, like, yeah, I could do it by myself, right? I've been doing it by myself. However, if the opportunity arose to be a rich housewife, I'm gone.
But that comes with
It comes at a
the
cost.
contract,
Yeah.
And that's when I don't think I would be willing to pay. I don't like having to ask
Mhm.
permission. I mean, there was a time where I was unemployed and I had to ask David for money.
Mhm.
Hey, can I have money to go do this? And I hated it. It felt like ash in my mouth.
Okay, so do you feel like that comes from witnessing your parents?
No, because my dad was never like, oh, no, you can't have that.
Uh-huh.
No, you can't have that. No, you're not working. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can't have
Yeah.
No, he was never. Oh, just recently. Like,
Yeah.
my mom was like, I want to go get my hair done. He was like, here's money.
Right.
Like, go get your hair done, get your nails done. Oh, and take Harley to do it too. And it was just that. I think that aspect, I feel that was something that he ingrained in me, that being taken care of shouldn't come at an ask.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the world is like, oh no, you gotta do it on your own. You gotta do it on your own.
Yeah,
I just
I'm not
don't wanna
down.
do it on my
Yeah,
own.
I'm
Like,
not down.
I don't want to do that. Why should I?
Right.
You're just as capable of helping me. I don't know.
Do you feel like finances and femininity go hand in hand?
Yes. Yes. Because if I can, I don't like that women are still underpaid before men,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't like that. I do the work just as much.
Mhm.
Now, if you're out there busting your ass as a linesman, as a construction worker, and, as a woman, I can't say you shouldn't be paid the same, but men who have been doing it longer should be, I
Mhm.
guess. Because I know women who are in
Those
profession-
feel.
like, and I hear all the shit she gets from men, and it's just like, well, I'm out here busting my ass too. Give me the same respect. You may not give me the same pay, but at least give me the same respect. But yeah, I think they should be softer on her. Like, I don't think they need to be vulgar or anything like that. She's out there making money.
Okay, wait. Let me interrupt right there real quick, because you said something. You feel like she doesn't necessarily have to make the same pay, but they should treat her softer.
Right.
Now, me, who has never been in that kind of work, who has never, I feel like if a woman decides that she's going to go into that kind of a trade,
Mhm.
she needs to be ready for that. You
Right.
have to have thick skin, because they're not
100%.
going to treat you any different because you
100%.
chose this career.
But it shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't have to be hard for you to realize that I'm a woman and I still have a line that you shouldn't cross.
So let me play devil's advocate.
Mhm.
If I'm a man
Mhm.
and I'm getting paid $120 an hour,
Mhm.
and we're the same code,
Mhm.
right? We're linemen,
Right.
right? We're linemen. And I'm expected to carry 100 pounds up and down flights of stairs
Mhm.
all day. I expect that because you are the same code
Mhm.
and you are doing the same job I am, you
Right.
should do the same thing.
No.
I don't expect it. Like,
100%.
I'm not going to give you any leeway to be like,
But
oh, she needs a break, or,
But don't come at me that I'm a bitch and that I belong behind the stove.
that, yes, I could see that.
Right.
Okay, so I think we're talking about
Right.
two different things,
Right.
right? So, like, mine is the physical aspect of you should have the same expectation as the men.
Right. Oh no, 100%.
Right.
As I'm in the medical field.
Right.
If a man comes into my field, which is majority women,
Right.
I'm not going to treat them like a woman.
Right.
You're going to get treated as a nurse, as
Mhm.
a mate, as a doctor, as whatever it is that you're in as that profession. Your gender has nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
But why, as a construction worker or a linesman, are you going to treat me differently?
Mhm.
A nurse is making the same, a male nurse is making the same as a female nurse, yet the expectation is equal, equality there. Like you're being just as equal. So I don't know. But I prefer you be softer with women because that's what they deserve. They deserve that option to be soft. Like if I come at you, and I know a lot of, men, like I'm one of the boys. Like I'm just, they're going to talk to me like they're talking to me.
Mhm.
But then I get my feelings hurt sometimes. It's like, you realize I'm a chick, right? Like, I have feelings.
I call it wanting to be a princess.
Right. But at the same time, I don't, right?
So it's funny because when we train, right,
Mhm.
we all train equal,
Mhm.
right? And then there's certain instructors that I know I can get away with being a princess with, right?
Right.
I'll look at him and be like, "You want me to do that?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, I want you to try." And I'm like, "Can I get the handicap version?" And he's like, "No, there is no handicap version." And I'm like, "Yes, there is. You know there is." And he's like, "Just try it. If you can't do it, like if you try it, you can't do it,
Yeah.
then I'll give you something else." And I'm like, "You're really making it hard for me. You know, I like to train like as a princess,
Right.
not like as a real like martial
Okay,
artist." And
but-
he laughs at me. He's
But
like,
see,
"No."
in that aspect, you're actually training because you want to be a princess.
Yeah.
Because if some big ass dude comes at you,
Right. I'm throat punching your ass. So don't come for me because I am trained and I will come for you and I will fucking throat punch you, no questions asked.
you know what I mean? Like it just you can't have that handicap.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what they tell me, right? They're like, we are training you for the real world. Like at the end of the day, if you're out and somebody decides to fuck with you, we need to know that you're going to walk away from that, right? Like we need to know if somebody's trying to kidnap you or Ava, like you're going to be able to handle that
Right.
situation. And that's why we train the way we do, right? Like we tag each other. We freaking hit each other. Why am I restricted for audiences? Oh, probably because I'm cussing. Oh, look, flagged for violent and criminal. I'm a violent criminal. No, I'm not a violent criminal. I'm just real life and we train for martial arts and that's what we do. But I mean, like, if somebody comes for me, I have to be ready, right? Because unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. How do I do this restriction?
Well, it's
Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in, and we have to be able to defend ourselves and to defend our families, right? So, like, sorry guys, you can see my fat fingers. I need to know that at the end of the day, I can hold my own, right?
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna go off live before they decide to disconnect me and ban my account. Well, not ban my account. They're not gonna ban my account, but they'll suspend me, I guess. So, it's been great, TikTok, but we will see you soon because apparently I'm getting flagged. How do I, oh, I probably gotta do this. Bye! Sorry, guys. I got
Be in
2
trouble.
restrictions in like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I better stop.
That's funny.
But I think it's rough, right? Because like I want Ava to know that she doesn't ever have to depend on a man, but it's okay to as well, right? And I think she knows that because she'll be like, we'll be doing something, and if something happens with my car, she's like, oh, just tell Anthony, who's one of our guys from karate. Oh, just tell Papa, he'll take care of it. Like, you know, so I'm like, I love that she has all these men to freaking like call, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, too, like, if I find a husband, and I would just let him do everything because I want to. I would much rather be at home being a homemaker than being out working.
See, I like working. I like to work. Like, working for me is like, okay, this is how I bring one, money for my kids, and 2, I help my partner. Me working takes that stress off them that they don't have to do it all. It may not be more, it may not be less, but for me, it's like, I'm helping you, you're helping me, we're helping each other, we're growing, And I think a lot of the girls today don't see that. They're just, I want diamond rings and fancy cars,
The flashy stuff.
like I want you to take care of me. I want all of that. Like, if you can't bring that to me, like, don't bother. But it's like men in general, they still have to work their ass off to get where they're going. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're putting more stress on them for that, then how are you helping? What do you bring to the table at that point? Because
Mm-hmm.
just laying there, you know,
I can see that, but
You know
I
what I mean?
also feel like there are men, and this is probably for the older generation, that want to take care of women and want somebody who wants to be taken care of and doesn't necessarily expect everything in return, right? There are times in life, I guess, where a man feels like that's his job. But again, I also feel like it's a generational thing because I feel like our grandparents' generation, the men always took care of the women. And that I feel like I was born in the wrong era because I feel like that's the era that I was supposed to be born in. But now I feel like men want to be princesses more than we do.
But think about that. Really think about that. Was it men really trying to take care of their women, or was it just that it cost $5,000 to buy a house? You only needed one income.
I mean, that's true.
You know, like grandpa worked his ass off. He was out there busting his butt. Grandma had to go bust her butt. Not
Mm-hmm.
for a long time. Like grandma would be working the hotels.
Mhm.
Like my mom, you know, she carried the insurance. She had to work. You know, your mom, both our parents worked.
Yeah.
You know, like at what age, at what generation do we say no, that men changed because they don't see the whole feminine movement kind of changed that.
See, and I don't agree with that.
What?
The feminine movement.
I don't either.
Because I would
don't-
have rather it stayed the way it was
No.
and was taken care of.
I think it went too far to the right.
Yeah, it went to the
It
extreme.
went to the extreme because at some point women had to be men. And that's where it's like, no, I don't want that. I want to be able to come home to a meal too, but not all the time. I don't need you to cook for me all the time. You cook one night, I'll cook another.
Right. It just depends on the flexibility of your schedules, right? Like who's home first.
Right.
If David's home first every day at 2:00 and you don't come home till 5, like of course he's gonna be, it's a partnership.
Right. And that's
And then on the weekends you'll take over, right? Like or when your days off are or whatever it is.
right.
But
I don't know.
yeah, no, see,
Agree with that whole movement. It went too far, whatever way. It's just too extreme for my liking, and I don't want the next generation to have to fix that because
I think we're already all fucked up.
I mean that's
Because
but that's not their fault.
no, it's not. But like the children that are being raised now, and I don't say ours because I don't think we're raising ours like that, are too fucking sensitive. They're too fucking sensitive.
I have sensitive kids, I'm not gonna lie.
But do you feel like that's a society thing or that's a you thing? Do you feel like you were softer on them because of the way your dad was with you?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like I don't agree with participation trophies.
No.
I don't agree with kids were killing themselves because they're being bullied. Fight back. I think that the kids today have thin skin and we're raising princesses all around and that it's too much, right? It's too much because we don't have kids that can defend themselves. And I'm not saying physically, I'm just saying like in a time where we have social media and keyboard warriors, you're gonna get your feelings hurt.
Well, and this is where I and David and I have had this discussion many a time. I feel that yes, I agree. There's a lot of that whole bullying thing. And I have always told him, bring back bullying. You need to bring back bullying because then you get soft kids, right?
Right.
But how many of our friends were being bullied that we didn't know that were cutting themselves?
I mean, I don't know. See, I don't remember
See.
any of that.
I had a lot.
Yeah.
How many of my friends went out and ended up pregnant because they were looking for something outside of what they had? How many of our friends actually did kill themselves and we didn't know it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, bullying to a point, yes, we do that within the household. If my kids can't take it from me, how are they going to take it from them? You know what I mean? Yes.
We're going on a tangent. Sorry, everybody. We're
Yes,
definitely
but
going
it
on a
is.
tangent. But I feel like
But
it goes back to the
it
girls
really
and
does.
thin skin and
As a girl, I used to be called fat all the time.
Mhm.
People would make fun of me for whatever reason they felt. They make themselves feel better. My kids may be sensitive, but they're sassholes.
Okay, so where do you feel like their sensitive comes in? Because I feel like sensitivity is a big range of things.
They don't.
Do you feel like they're emotional?
They can be. They can be. They don't take criticisms well. They don't take constructive criticism.
Mhm.
I can tell them, hey, don't do it like that. Do it this way. And God forbid, well, I'm not doing it that way. And they get upset. Like they can't emotionally regulate how they're feeling.
Because they feel attacked.
They feel attacked.
Okay. So do you feel like if you said, hey, try it this way because X, Y, and Z, they would feel less attacked?
No, at least on my perspective.
Right.
No. Because there have been other times where I'm just like, hey, that's really great. Like I've done the whole thing. Like, don't do it like that. Do it this way. I'm not telling you to hurt your feelings. I'm telling you because of this. Or I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I've gone down the road, and even to the point where it's, hey, that's a really good job, but I think this would be better. And still, they get mad, right? So I'm just like, all right, you gotta fall to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And that's my, I guess, hot take on my parenting is I'm gonna give you everything you need, and if you still fail, that's okay. But understand, I told you so. So
Yes.
it's like,
yes.
I told you were gonna do it wrong, and this is why. And they do tend to learn a little better that way. Harley, being who she is, how she is, she has a little more clarity in that
Mhm.
versus when David did. So the 7 age gap
Mhm.
is pretty, you wouldn't see it between the two of them because she has him to look at and
Mhm.
the things that he's doing and he's not doing. So she kind of has that map for herself or whatever you want to call it. And she's able to see that I don't want a husband. I don't want to be like my mom and depend on, somebody to do it. I don't want to be like my grandma, who can't go to the store. She doesn't want that because she sees the hardships in it. And
Mhm.
that's what I don't want. Like,
I was going to say,
hard.
so do you feel like that is giving her a biased opinion of building relationships?
Mhm. Yep. Because I went from one to the other. Right? I don't want to be like my mom. So when it comes down to it, I'm my dad. I'm the hard-headed one. I'm the one I'm the one yelling and screaming at everybody. I'm that. I don't want that for her. I don't want her to be my mom, but I don't want her to be my dad either. I want her somewhere in the middle. And I think she's getting it, and I think David kind of gets it too cuz he sees like how we'll fight or whatever, and he doesn't want that either. So it's a really weird time to be raising kids. You and I
can 100% agree with that.
we're just like,
These kids have different struggles.
yeah. I agree.
So I think from there, let's shift gears a little bit, right? And let's talk about raising our daughters and how our daughters are right now, right? And I wish Ava was here because I know she would speak on some stuff, right? But in any event, I feel like Ava's wild.
Wild.
Ava is wild because I allow her to be wild, right? Like, let's be honest. I allow her to be wild. And I allow her to question things, right? To an extent.
Right.
Sometimes when she just pisses me off, I'm like, because I said so.
Right.
That's why. And but she also knows that she has a voice and she will speak up for herself and she'll speak up for her friends, right? She's not afraid to throw hands, right? But I think that comes from the background of she's trained since she was 5 years old, right? So I think that she knows that she can handle her own physically and her size helps, right? She's fucking probably 5 foot tall. She's a solid kid, right? So like, I think she's bigger than most of the kids her age, but she's not afraid to stand against her teachers either, right?
Yeah.
We had an issue this year at her school where they were taking recess from her. And I came in and I said, no, it's California regulation. You cannot take their recess from them. That's their given time to be kids, right? And so in the beginning, she was like, well, what do I say? I said, you say I need to call my mom. And then so it was like a whole thing. I put in a complaint at the school with the district and everything for one of the recess teachers who's just really an asshole to all the kids. But she was also like, I need to call my mom because you're not giving me my recess and I know I'm supposed to get my recess, right? So like I allow her to clap back, right? And then when kids like bother her, I'm like, don't start no fights, but defend yourself.
Right. I've given that same speech. And Harley being, I mean, she's what, almost 5'3"?
Yeah, she's tall.
She's a stocky kid.
Yeah.
You know, but she's so shy about it. I mean, look at you took her to the mall not too long
Oh
ago.
my God.
And she
That
would
was
not talk.
freaking funny.
You know, she's like, I need this and blah, blah, blah. Like, she doesn't use that voice. But if you piss her off,
right,
she's going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, she ain't got no problem. You should hear her when she's on her stupid VR.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It's F this and F that and you're a bitch and this. Oh my God.
I love it.
You swear to sailor.
Yeah.
You know, but I wouldn't change it.
Right. Because I feel like the girls today have to be able to clap back. And it's not always going to be about throwing hands, right? And that's the one thing that I always need. I always try to reassure Ava, like, it's not always going to be about throwing hands. It's going to be about somebody's going to say something to you to try and hurt your feelings, and you need to laugh and clap back because that's going to piss them off more than anything.
Right.
Like, I'm like, the fact that they don't get under your skin is what's going to piss them off.
Right. And I think, because that's always been a thing. Don't start no fights, but you better finish it.
Right.
Right. And that's always, and then if they happen to hit you, hit them back.
Right.
I'll deal with the consequences.
Right. Right.
Because at the end of the day, you told the teacher, they still did it. You warned them, you came back with it. There you go.
Right.
You were warned, you were given one and only warning.
Right.
Right. That's all you get. So I don't think we're raising softer women. I think we're raising tougher women, but in a different area.
I think we are. I don't think
a lot of millennial parents are. It's the Gen X who are raising Gen Alpha doing it.
That are like, my poor baby.
Right.
Okay. So let me just ask you this, and this is going to be like another side tangent too. Do you feel like how do I put this? The use of mental health excuses is overused?
That is a tough one. It really is. Because
and not just mental health. Let me just clarify that, right? Not just mental health, autism, ADHD, all of those things, all of the diagnoses that they're giving kids today that when it was our generation didn't exist.
That one.
It's a tough question, right? But it's a reality.
How many of us had it and didn't realize it?
But how did we continue to be successful adults?
Because we were forced to. I can tell you right now, David, he has ADHD. He has that issue. You know, borderline, we don't know, like never got diagnosed. The ADHD did. And he was forced to do it. His handwriting is completely crap sometimes because he was forced to use his right hand. Like, how much force was behind all those people who are on the autistic spectrum, on the ADHD spectrum? Is it overkill? And yes, there's a lot of people who are abusing it. I will not deny that. There are a lot of people who are not needed in that area. You don't fall on that spectrum. Just because you had one doesn't mean you fall under that. And just because you do certain things a certain way doesn't mean that you are. I myself fall under a lot of those like buckets of where you can get that. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself to be any of those. Like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I didn't focus on that label. I had a point to prove, right? Like, I wasn't going to end up a burger flipper like everybody told me. You know, I wasn't going to do it. So I had a point to prove. And a lot of us that are seeing like these mental illnesses that are coming up, That's the first thing. Like, that's my first reaction is you're full of shit. How did you make it this far and not have it? I did it with David. That was one of our big fights. How do you get this far in life and just now realize it?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say yes and I can't say no because I want to make sure that Harley doesn't have it. She shows a lot of the signs. You know, she gets overstimulated and she completely shuts down. We were at my mom's house the other day and she had to go sit in a quiet room at the far back end of the house because Granny's kids were being too, you know, Tony had the radio on, he was laughing, and Daniel was there, and they were moving things, and she just got so overwhelmed, she was having a panic attack. So, can I say that she's autistic? No. Can I say that she's, you know, ADHD or anxiety or depressed? No, I can't. And these tests that they're doing can't really pinpoint that because anybody can lie about it.
Do you feel like you would allow her to use that as a disability?
No.
Okay.
Because yes, I'll let her use it to her advantage. Late schoolwork because she can't focus on it. Letting her gain that access to special tests because too many questions overwhelm her. Yeah, I'm going to let her use it to her advantage. But am I going to let her stand there and be like, oh no, I'm autistic. I can't learn to cook today. No, sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're going to learn to cook. Oh, sorry, I can't do that because of this. No, you're going to learn to do it. You got to learn past that. You got to push that. Is it right? I don't know. Is it wrong? I don't know. Only time will tell.
I know that was another side tangent, but I feel like that kind of goes with the bringing sensitive kids. And I think we're just going to have to do another episode on sensitive kids. But
see, sensitive kids is a hard thing because.
But that's why we have to talk about it. Right. And that's why we have to define it. Right.
You know,
but this is supposed to be about girls. That's why I'm like, tangent.
This is how it works. You know it. I know it.
But I promise you guys, I'm taking notes and we will definitely come back to it, right? Because I feel like right now we should just be talking about the girls, right? I feel like girls are weird. Let's be honest. I don't have a lot of female friends, right? Like I have probably like a handful of friends that I would call friends, right? I have a lot of acquaintances. I know a lot of people, but women have never been like my jam. I've never like, you know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like they're so drama and there's always something, right? Somebody always gets jealous. Somebody always has something to say. And I've cut people off for it, right? Especially when you can't bring it to me, you want to bring it to somebody else and you want to start the catty bullshit. I don't do that, right? If I have an issue with you, I will bring it to you and we will have a conversation about it. And then it'll go either way. You're either going to tell me to go fuck myself and never talk to me again, or you're going to be like, damn, I didn't realize I was being an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about it. I don't care. Let's have a conversation. But be ready, because I'm going to come to you with facts, right? But I feel like girls today are, number one, sensitive. And number two, they're kind of being taught to be men, to be boys, to, you know, do things for yourself and don't wait for nobody and don't, you know, you shouldn't have to do this. Don't wait for your husband to do that. You can change your oil and change your tire by yourself. You don't need a man. And I don't want Ava to be like that either, right? Like, I want her to be the in-between. She can if she wants to, but she doesn't have to, right? Like, there will always be somebody there to help you. But like, for example, there was this little girl at Ava's school who we got a whole ass long message about that the kids were playing this game. And I don't know if your kids played this game, but it was called, they had like a cheese touch, right? It's essentially, and because I was telling her, the school sent me an email, what happened? And she's like, Mom, it's so dumb. Like, they're playing the Bob Touch and whatever. Like, this is what it is. Essentially, it's cooties. They pass it to you by touching, right? I know, right? That's what I said. Okay. So then I was like, well, does that little girl not have friends? Is she like by herself? Like me? Then I feel bad for her, right? And she was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? And she said, she has her own group of friends and they don't play the Bob Touch, right? They just whatever, but like she gets like all sad about it. And I was like, but she has friends to play with. She's like, yeah. Because I was like, because you know, she's by herself. I expect you to go over there and talk to her and play with her and whatever. I was like, or if somebody gives you the Bob Touch, I expect you to be like, this is a stupid game.
Right.
You know? Because then you're helping so that the game, it only takes one person to be like,
Stupid.
this is stupid.
Yeah.
And everybody's be like, oh yeah, you're right. This is stupid, right? Be the trendsetter. Don't be the follower.
Right.
And she was like, so then I was like, why is this even a thing if she has friends?
Right.
Right? That's why I had to get that out there before you commented, because it's not like she's lonely and she's by herself.
Right.
She has her own group of friends. But so that's what I mean about like girls being sensitive, right? Like,
It's always been a thing.
right, but like why are we allowing that to continue? So, okay, also I should say Bob's parents, when she first came to the school, because she's only been there about a year. I think this is her second year, said that at her last school, she was having issues with the kids there too. So then that's like a cycle, right?
So it sounds like she's the problem.
Right. And Bob has friends. So it's like, why are you so worried about? And so here's where my assholeness comes in. Like, why are you so worried about what other people think about you?
Right. But again, devil's advocate here.
Right.
She's a girl. Girls are supposed to be sensitive. And I can guarantee you it was a little boy
Right.
liked her hair and said, now you got the cuties.
Right. Right.
That's just what it is.
And I'm
that's
just like,
never going to go away. As much as we try to get that out of society's way,
right.
It's a little boy who's pulling her hair.
Mhm.
And it's okay so long as she asks for it, I guess. But I don't know. I get it.
So what are your experiences with Harley? How old is Harley?
She's 11.
11. Okay. And she's in middle school, right? What are her experiences at school? Or like, what kind of girly experiences does she have?
I mean, the worst thing has been the bullying.
Mhm.
She did have a little girl who liked to give her crap about not being Mexican.
Oh.
That was her thing.
Okay.
My kids are white.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Is what it is.
We'll have to post pictures so you guys can understand that.
Is white. So she would tell them, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm half white, half Mexican." And then this little girl was just like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And Harley would get so upset. And I was just like, "Babe, it doesn't bother me. Like, it doesn't bother me that they don't think I'm your mom. That's fine. Let them think it." Then I guess the little girl ended up telling her that she was adopted. I was just like, "No, you came out of me. Like, I was there. I was there.
We
She
got
was
proof."
not." And she's so for a long time, like this little girl was just like, "No, you're not. You're not Mexican. You're not Mexican. You're too white. You don't even speak Spanish." You know, and it's like, why? What difference does it make? I'm like,
Why do you care,
yeah,
right?
Why does it bother you? It doesn't bother me.
Right.
You know, and as she got older, I mean, this little girl, I think she's been in her class like every year.
Oh
up
my
until
God.
this. And so every year the bullying would just get worse and worse. And Harley was just adamant about it. And, you know, she wouldn't talk to me about it. She wouldn't talk to me until one day she was just like, "Mom, are you really my mom?"
Oh my God.
It's like, "Yes, I'm your mom."
Yeah.
Like,
I
paid
pushed
for
you out of my
I
coochie.
paid for
So
you know, she's like, "Well, what do you mean you paid for me?" I was like, "I had to go through fertility treatments for you. I had to go to the doctors." I go, "It cost me a lot of money to make you. You are mine.
I promise
belong to
you're
me."
mine.
You know, and she was just like, "Well, why does she keep saying it?" And I'm just like, "Because she's full Mexican. Either she's upset that she doesn't look like you, or that you're not as friends. She doesn't have as many friends as you do. Like,
Mhm.
it's always something that somebody's harboring towards you because they're,
boils down to jealousy.
you know." So I'm like, let her be jealous. Let her talk her shit. Let her say whatever. And when it comes down to it, when I show up, because unfortunately I worked
Mm-hmm.
2 hours away, you know, every day. I had to commute, so I missed out a lot of things that, you know, the mom and dad things.
Yeah.
You know, the school functions. I wasn't able to go, so it was really hard for her to prove
That she
her
was
mom.
Mexican. Yeah.
Right. So when I finally showed up, I mean, because her last name is Harbor,
Right.
like it is hard to be like, "Oh yeah, you're Mexican with that last name." Right. So when I showed up, this little girl was just like, oh, you are Mexican, you know. And so after that, it kind of got a little better. And
Yeah.
then this year, when she started school, the little girl just fucked off and
Yeah.
picked somebody else, or she's getting picked on now. I don't know, but Harley hasn't really had too.
Do you feel like Harley's one of the kids that like flies under the radar, that tries to stay out of the limelight?
No. Everybody knows her.
Oh, that's good.
Yes and no, because then you have things like that.
Right.
You know, they know her because they know her dad or they know
Mhm.
her brother, you know, so, oh, you're so and so's kid, you
Mhm.
know, like, and when she was in elementary school, David knew the teachers, you
Mhm.
know, like they would, you know, they would do that. And then now he knows more of her teachers because he went to school with these people. They went and they got, you know, teaching
Mhm.
degrees and stuff. So now they're doing what they went to school for. And so they all know him. And so they see her. So they kind of put her in that light,
Yeah.
which she likes but doesn't at the
Mhm.
same time, which is fine. Can't hate her for that. But I mean, she's Harley.
Yeah.
And Ava and her are complete
opposites.
You would not even realize they're
No.
related.
Yeah, I mean, Ava's got she's not pink, but she's got the light skin, right? But she is definitely the outspoken. She
Yeah.
wants to be in the limelight. She loves to perform. She, you know, she makes me laugh because like that's why I say like if she were here,
Yeah.
she would 100% have something to say.
Yeah. And whereas Harley is here and she's just like,
And they would be like blah 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 blah, blah. And then this one time,
Yeah.
and then you know,
I mean, just between her and my nieces, like,
yeah.
completely different.
Ava is a very different kid, I think. And I think that I try to raise Ava to understand that I'm her mother 1st,
Mhm.
right? I will always be your mother first,
Right.
but I will always come to save you, right? Good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm going to come to save you. But if you fuck up, I'm going to tell you fucked
Right.
up. Between you and I.
Yeah. After
right?
Save you. Yeah.
But I think that that's why she is the way she is, because she knows that her mom's got her back 100%. And I will come tenfold, right? Like the lady at school, right? Like kids are afraid of the people at school, right? Like they don't want to get in trouble and they don't want to, you know. And I'm like, Ava, fuck them. Like I'll come to your safety, you know, like they're not going to fuck with you because they know who your mother is.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Again, we
Right.
raised the same way. My kids still have, they both heard it.
Yeah.
Both heard, I will hide the body with you. I will go out. You hit them after they hit you. I'm taking you out for ice cream.
Right.
And still, she's scared.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because I was talking to her friend's mom the other day, yesterday. And she was like, I'm nervous about my daughter going to middle school. Her daughter's really tiny and really skinny. Like she's a very petite. Her parents are petite.
Yeah.
She's like, I worry about her getting picked on in middle school. And I said, I worry that my daughter's going to get into a fight. It's like, oh no, Ava can hold her own. Don't worry about that. I said, I know. I said, but like also I don't want her to be a bully either, right? Because
Right.
she also knows she's not allowed to be a bully because it's fuck around and find out.
Right.
Like if I find out you're being a bully, I'm going to tell all the guys at karate and that's going to be your ass.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't train you to be a bully. We train you to defend yourself. So I will say she's really good at like defending herself and her friends. She does get sensitive. She doesn't like people to be mad at her. She's very empathetic, right?
Mhm.
So like if somebody's in trouble, she feels bad for them. If somebody's sad, she wants to know why. And she
Right.
wants to come over and console you. And she's very much like that. When she hurt my back yesterday, she did it because she was mad because I was telling her something. And then afterwards, when she realized she hurt me, she was in the chair crying. I couldn't see her because I was laying on the floor trying to ice my back, but she was crying. And Hannah goes, why are you crying? You're not the one that's hurt. And she was like, no.
Oh, poor baby.
So like she's very sensitive in that way, but she'll clap back in a heartbeat. And
Yeah.
she'll 100% jump in front of the camera and she'll 100% be like, I'm ready. Like, let's perform. Right.
Yeah.
But like, I think that she knows because I will always back her.
Yeah.
Always 100%.
Mhm.
So I don't know. All that, I feel like we've been talking for a long time and don't mind our tangents. We will further those. We'll have to go back. I took some notes, but we'll have to go back and go in and see what we have to like do another episode on. But thank you for listening to Chaos en la Mesa. It has been a great time. And these are our shenanigans all the time. So these are what our conversations are like, actually like in real life.
Real.
Like we have
Real.
20 different conversations in one conversation, but we will narrow it down a little bit. Ultimately, I think that we are raising some badass little women, whether they, use it for good or evil, it's going to be up to them. But we are doing what we can with the tools that we were given, and we are trying to change the norms for them and their expectations in life, because life is what you make of it, right? Nobody's going to tell you what's right or wrong when you're an adult. You have to learn that, and I hope that I'm doing that job with my daughter.
Same.
And I think that they will be kick-ass humans and kick-ass adults when they get there. And we will.
Let's just hope we're alive to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working on it, right? Like we're trying to keep ourselves healthy and alive. I'm gonna be like grandma and be like, I don't want to be that old, but
No,
I do
we'll
want
live
to
forever.
see that I don't.
I want to live as long as I'm able to wipe my own butt. I want to live forever.
But thank you for listening to Chaos en la Mesa. Please follow us and subscribe, and our YouTube will be up soon, and all the things. Okay, bye.
And that's another conversation we've brought to the table. Thank you for sitting here with us with Chaos en la Mesa. If today's episode made you laugh, think, or reminded you of your own family chaos, make sure to follow the podcast and share it with someone who would bring their own stories to the table. Remember, sometimes the conversations we avoid are the ones we need most. Until next time, keep the cafecito warm, keep the conversation real.